Okay. Can you please just tell me about your recent projects?
Yeah, so recently I worked on developing a microservice based application for an e-commerce platform, and in that project I primarily utilized like Java, Spring Boot and MySQL. The application is used to streamline like various online retail operations such as like project management, order processing, customer support, and etc. So basically, we decided to use a microservice architecture to ensure scalability and facilitate the independent management of services. So in that, my role involved in designing and developing several key microservices, including those responsible for order processing and inventory management, as well as integrating them with the MySQL databases. So it was a challenging yet rewarding experience collaborating with the team to deliver a robust solution uh, uh, as per the client needs. So I mean, that's the brief overview of my recent project. So where I worked on the microservices. Yeah.
So, why you guys choose microservices architecture over monolithic architecture for your retail banking system project?
Yeah. So we went for microservices architecture like because it makes the thing simpler. You know, see, instead of one big complicated system, we splitted it into smaller parts. This made it easier to handle and improve each part on its own. Plus, if one part, suppose one part has the problem, so it did not mess up with everything else. Also, with microservices, we could try out new technologies without messing up the whole thing. So we could change one small part without touching the rest. So that's why we preferred microservices over the monolithic application. So it helps us like work better and fix issues faster and keep up with the new technologies trends in whichever microservices required. So yeah, that's the reason why we chose microservices over monolithic application.
What is API gateway in microservices?
So API gateway in microservices acts as a single entry point for all the client requests. It simplifies the communication between clients and various microservices by routing the request, handling authentication and managing traffic. So essentially it's like a traffic cop, you can say, that directs and controls the flow of data between clients and microservices behind the scenes. So yeah, so that's what the job of API gateway.
So, which API gateway you have used in your project?
We have used Spring Cloud Gateway for the API gateway.
So, do you know about Hystrix?
So yeah, Hystrix in microservices is a latency and fault tolerant library. So that is designed to handle failures and latency issues in the distributed system. So it helps in building like resilient microservices by providing mechanisms such as circuit breaker, fallbacks, etc. So essentially Hystrix acts as a safety net, you can say, for the microservices. So like it uses, like it prevents cascading failures and it improves overall system reliability. Yeah.
So, as you mentioned about cascading failure, so what do you mean by cascading failure?
So yeah, like suppose a situation when we have microservice A which is calling microservice B, and B ultimately calling microservice C. So suppose like for some reason microservice C is down or it is failed. So in that case what happens is that if any client request is made, then since the C has failed, so ultimately the microservice B will fail, and which leads to the failure of microservice A. So this whole effect is called the cascading effect. So in order to prevent this cascading effect, we use historics to prevent all this. So that is what is the cascading effect.
So which version of Java do you use in your project?
Yeah, Java 8.
Okay, so can you please tell me what are the features of Java 8?
Yeah, so there are various features which has been introduced in Java 8. So one is Lambda expression, and then stream API is there, functional interface is there, optional class is there, then datetime API is there. So so these are the features which I am aware of.
So what is functional interface in Java?
So a functional interface in Java is an interface that contains exactly one abstract method, and it can have any number of default or static methods, and but it must have only one abstract method. So functional interfaces are used to provide a single abstract method that represents a functional or behavior, allowing them to use with Lambda expression or method references. So we use at the rate of functional interface annotation on top of the interface, so which makes sure that that interface is the functional interface, and this because of this, if suppose we add more than one abstract method, so it will show the compile time error. So so that's the functional interface.
Okay, so as you said, we can have only one abstract method, right? So suppose we have the functional interface and we are adding one method over there, toString. So we are using toString method. So one abstract method we are adding it. So do you think it is fine?
Yeah, so adding a toString method to a functional interface is fine, like as long as it does not conflict with the single abstract method requirement. So the toString method is inherited from the object class, right? So adding it won't violate the functional interface rule. However, it like the functional interface normally it simply ignores it. So we have to have the another abstract method. So this toString method will be ignored. Okay. However, generally it is not necessary or common to add this method to functional interface, as it's typically used to provide string representation of object, right? So which might not be relevant to the functional aspect of the interface. So
Okay, so can you explain some changes in internal working of HashMap in Java 8?
Yeah. So in Java 8, there were some significant changes which has been made to the internal working of hash maps to boost the performance. So previously, HashMap used linked list to store entries in each bucket, which could slow down search each times, especially in case where many entries ended up in same bucket. Now starting from Java 8, when the number of items in the bucket hits a certain threshold, that linked list gets upgraded to balanced tree, and this balanced tree is also known as red black tree. So so this reduces the search from earlier it was O of n, now the it is O of log n. So this upgrade has also reduced the time a lot, especially in the scenario with high hash collisions. So that's all on the major changes to the hash map in Java 8. So it speeds up the search operations and ensures better overall efficiency in handling large data sets.
Okay, can you explain why default method was introduced in Java 8?
Yeah, so default method were introduced in Java 8 to give interfaces the ability to have methods with implementations without causing any issue for existing implementations. So this feature lets developer add new methods to interfaces while keeping the things backward compatible with classes that already implement these interfaces. So let's say suppose we have one interface like let's say animal, we have one animal interface is there, and there are some classes, let's say dog is there, fish is there, and few more classes are there which actually implement that animal interface. Now suppose in future like some requirement comes in which we have to add one method, lex is there, and that lex is supposed to be added to, let's say the class is called dog, maybe lion, tiger. So for them we have to add this method legs. Okay, and let's say so we, instead of adding the same method to each and every class, what we will do that we will go to interface, and there we can have the default method over there, and there we can simply write, okay, so it has 4 legs. So that will be applicable to all these like dog, lion and tiger classes. But now we have the question like, okay, fish will also have that method. So yes, it will have, but the beauty of default method is that now the fish class can also override this default method, and it can have its own method in that, and there it can be mentioned something like it has no legs or something like that, right? So that's the advantage of using the default method. So it has been introduced in Java 8. So basically default method help in evolving interfaces with more flexibility and maintainability, and basically the implementing classes has the flexibility to choose whether they want to use the default method or not, or they want to change it. So that flexibility will be there, and this makes it easier to extend interfaces without breaking existing code, and allows for smoother integration of new features into existing code base. So yeah, that's what is the default method in Java 8. Yeah.
Okay, so do you know what is parallel stream?
Yeah, so basically in Java 8 it introduced 2 types of stream. So one is like a kind of sequential stream, and one is the parallel stream. Okay, so suppose if the data set is small, and like if we want to the order also, let's say the order of data also, we want that to be iterate in the sequential manner, right, in the order how it has been added to whatever the collection it is. So in that case we can go for the sequential stream. And parallel stream can be used, suppose we have data intensive things like lots of data is there and the order does not matter actually. So in that case we can go for the parallel stream. So basically single sequential stream processes elements one by one in a single threaded manner, but the parallel stream is especially a type of stream that can use the power of multi-core processors of a system by splitting the streams element into multiple chunks and processing them concurrently. So yeah, that's the difference.
Okay, so can you explain me get, post, put, and delete methods?
Yeah, so these are the HTTP methods which we use while making the web service calls. So get is used to basically get the data, post is used to like create the data to the database, and then we have put. So put is used to update the data, and then delete is used to delete it.
Okay, so as you said, get is used to get the data. So do you think we can use get to create the resource? So can we use get to create the resource?
No, the get method in HTTP method is used for retrieving the data from the specified resource, not for creating or modifying the resources. So basically, according to HTTP specifications, the get method requests a representation of the specified resource, and it should not have the significance of taking an action over other than retrieval. So if we want to create the resource, then we have the post method, so that is what we should use.
Okay, but will it throw any error if we still try to create?
No, it won't create any error also. It won't throw any error also, but it is just the I mean, when we try to do that, means we are violating the principles of RESTful architecture and HTTP semantics. And also, like whenever we are doing the get method and trying to create the resource, so we can pass the data into the URL itself, right? So we don't have the body, right, in case of get. So whenever we are doing that, so the whole data is exposed, right? So suppose any password or something is there, so all those are like security intensive things are there, so that is simply exposed, so that is not advisable to do that. And also, like the number of character limitations is there. I think 2000 character or 2024 character is there, which is a maximum number of characters which we can pass while making the get while doing the get request. So I mean, basically these are the few reasons why we should not use get for the get to create the resource. So yeah.
Okay, so in Java, how do you handle the exception?
So in Java, whenever we execute the code, so there is a possibility of something going wrong. For example, I am trying to read from the file and that file does not exist. So that is a scenario where file not found exception might happen. So the exception is any abnormal behavior that occurs during program execution. So there are two types of exceptions. One is your compile time exception and another one is your runtime exception. So compile time exception, you have to handle it compulsorily whenever in your code. So there is a try catch block is there. So whatever you write in try block will be executed, and while executing code in a try block, if something goes wrong, then we have to then the flow goes to catch block, and in catch block you either like you can do the logging, you can log it, like whatever exception is there, and it will be logged to the log file. And then another one is the runtime exception. So runtime exception is where the I mean, when the some problem is there in your logic, for example, arithmetic exception is there. So suppose divide by 0 is there, so that will ultimately will throw the arithmetic expression. So that is the problem with the logic of your code, right? So that won't be shown at the compile time, so that will occur while the runtime only. So to fix this, we have to correct our logic, and then we have to run the code. So that is how runtime exception can be fixed. So these are the two ways how we handle exception in Java.
Okay, so what are the collections which you have used in your project?
Yeah, I have used array list, I have used linked list, I have used hash map, hash tables. So yeah, all these I have used.
Okay, can you tell me the difference between hash map and hash table?
Yeah, so hash map is, I think, thread safe. No, hash map is not thread safe, and hash table is thread safe. And hash map can have one null key and multiple null values, while in hash table we cannot have any null key or null value. So no null key or null value is allowed. And hash table, since it is thread safe, so it will have the slow performance, and in the hash map the performance will be better compared to the hash table. So yeah, so these are the differences between these two.
Okay, so what is synchronized map and concurrent hash map?
Yeah, so in synchronized map, that lock happens at the object level, and in the concurrent hash map the lock happens at the bucket level or segment level. Yeah, so both are thread safe, and in synchronized map null key and multiple null values are allowed, while in concurrent hash map null key and values are not allowed. And since the lock happens in case of concurrent hash map at the bucket level, so the performance will be faster in concurrent hash map, and in synchronized map it will be, the performance will be slower. Yeah.
So what is the difference between array list and linked list?
Yeah, so array list internally uses dynamic array to store elements. So basically in array list it will have the slower performance when insertion or deleting the element in the middle of the list we are doing. So because it requires shifting of elements, so it is more suitable for the scenarios where random access and iterations are frequent, and the list size does not change frequently. When coming to the linked list, so linked list is like slower in performance for random access because it needs to traverse the list from the beginning or end to reach the specific index. And linked list is suitable for the scenarios where frequent insertion or deletion are required and random access is less frequent. So because it internally uses doubly linked list to store the elements.
Okay, so what is serialization in Java?
Yeah, so basically serialization is the process of converting an object into a byte stream, and this byte stream can then be stored in files, or it can be transmitted over networks, or it can be saved in databases. So serialization is typically used to persist object state or to transfer the object between different applications or systems. So when an object is serialized, so when an object is serialized, its state is converted into platform independent stream of bytes. So this allows the object to be constructed later and possibly on a different platform or in different runtime environment. So after that, again we can use the deserialization. So deserialization is the like reverse process of serialization. So it involves the converting byte stream back to the Java object, and we can use that converted object later on. Yeah.
Okay. So have you worked on NoSQL databases?
No, I have mostly worked on the SQL databases and relation databases like MySQL and Oracle mostly.
Okay, so can you tell me what is the difference between delete and truncate commands?
Yeah, so delete is used to remove one row at a time, and truncate is used, suppose we have to remove all rows at the same time from the table, so then we go for truncate. So this is the major difference. Then delete comes under like DML command. Delete, we say data manipulation language, and truncate is the data definition language. So yeah, this is the major difference between these two.
Okay, can you explain me the difference between join and union?
Okay, join and union. Okay, so join is used to combine rows from two or more tables based on a related column. Like one will be the foreign key and another can be the primary key, but not necessarily, but yeah, so there will be a related column in the both of the tables. So based on that we perform the join operation. So suppose we have one employee table and the another one is the departments table. So in the employee table we have a column called department ID, and in the departments also suppose we have the department ID. So this is the relationship between these two tables. So if we want to perform the join operation on this, so simply we can do something like the star from employees, and then we use the keyword join, and then the next table name we can add like departments in this case, and then we have a keyword on, and after that we put the columns between these two tables based on which we are performing the join. So for example, let's say employee has department ID and department also has department ID. So we can write the query something like select star from employees join departments on employees dot employee department ID equal to departments dot department ID. So like this way we can perform the join operation. So coming to the union, so union is used to combine the result set of two or more select queries into single result set. The major difference between these two is like union is applied between the similar kind of result sets or tables. For example, suppose we have table 1, and from there if we are taking select name and age from table 1, then from table 2 also we have to take name and age only. So and these two should be the should have the same data type. Okay, so name and age should have the same data type in both of the tables. So then only we can perform the union operation, right? But in join, that we use in different kind of scenario, like suppose we have any two tables as I told you earlier, like we have employee and department, right? So just there should be one column in both of the tables which ultimately adds the relationship between these two tables. So based on that we perform the join operation. Again we have various types of joins like inner join, left join, right join, full join. So all these joins we have, And similarly in union also we have union and union all.
Okay, so what is the difference between these two, union and union all?
Yeah, the main difference between union and union all is like union removes duplicate rows from the combined result set by default, while union all retains all rows including duplicates.
Okay, so do you know what is trigger in SQL?
Yeah, so a trigger in SQL is like a special type of stored procedure, you can say, that automatically executes in response to certain events or actions, like whenever insert, update, or delete is happening. So then this is triggered, some actions is triggered. So there are basically two types of triggers. It can happen like before trigger and after triggers. So it can be like before insert, update, or delete, and it can be after insert, update, or delete. So before insert, update, delete, like that executed before the corresponding data modification operation is performed. They can be used to validate or modify data before it is changed. Similarly, the after trigger one, so that is executed after the corresponding data modification operation has been performed. They are commonly used for like auditing, logging, or triggering further actions based on the changes. So yeah, so this is the trigger.
Okay, so what is view in SQL?
Okay, so a view in SQL is a virtual table that is derived from one or more tables or other views. It can also be. It does not store any data of its own, but instead dynamically retrieves data from its underlying tables. So, and whenever it is required. So views are defined using select query, so which specifies the columns and rows that should be included in the views result set.
Okay, can you share your screen?
Yeah, sure.